Please welcome Michael Reagan to our show. Michael, welcome.
Good to be with you, Governor.
Michael, something that is important to you that you've been a champion of is an honest appraisal of American history. Do you think we're just not even understanding who we are as Americans anymore?
We don't understand ourselves because we're not taught. There's no education. I ran into a young man in Germany a few years ago, asked him what he knew about the Berlin Wall. He said, well, the Americans kept it up, or put it up to keep the communists out of their sector. I was amazed by that, so what I did was put in a Ronald Reagan room at the Checkpoint Charlie Museum a year later. A few years ago, I was playing golf with a young man, told him I was headed to Normandy to raise the flag at the American cemetery on Sunday morning. He said to me, why is there an American cemetery at Normandy? Had no reason to know. He didn't know why. I said to him, I said, did you think D-Day was the day your report card came home?
Which is kind of frightening, you know, and I think we're laughing here in the studio because it's funny, but yet what's not funny is that there's a whole generation of Americans who don't understand what they have inherited, what has been handed to them on a silver platter, their liberty, their freedom, the incredible opportunities this country affords. How do we fix that, Michael?
Governor, listen, I wrote about it in one of my books, Lessons My Father Taught Me. I learned about America sitting in a station wagon with my father as a young boy driving out to the ranch, hearing him regale me with stories about America, singing the songs of every military organization on the planet. And so what I do through the Reagan Legacy Foundation is really uplift that whole image of my father. We have a foundation that gives scholarships to young men who serve on the USS Ronald Reagan. We have a program now at Normandy, France, Walkway to Victory. People can go online to walkwaytovictory.com and order a brick with the name of a loved one who served in the Second World War in the European theater. And we are bricking in there at St. Mary Église, Normandy, France. First town freed by America on D-Day. We're putting bricks in with the names of those who saved the world. And we're doing that. And I just hope people really remember those who gave their lives so that we're not speaking German.
I'm going to tell you something. One of the most moving experiences my wife and I ever had was going to Normandy, raising that flag that you talked about, and just realizing what those young men did was an act of courage and valor, the likes of which we may never see in human history. And I pray we never have to see that kind of valor again. You've been a very, what I would call, objective and fair critic of President Trump. What advice, if you could give to President Trump, would you share with him?
I would tell the President of the United States to start tweeting presidentially. It's great to be the President of the United States, but sometimes you have to act like the President of the United States and be presidential. And if he became more presidential, more people would be paying attention to what's going on in the labor market, where we have the greatest workforce on the planet, we have the greatest income, we have the greatest country. And they would pay attention to that instead of the tweets that he puts out that sometimes demean people that he doesn't need to be doing. Act presidential, Mr. President.
Earlier in the show, and our audience certainly, I think, agrees with that. Earlier in the show, I talked about journalists. It's a profession I don't see happening very much anymore. I see advocates. Journalists don't make themselves part of the story. Today, people who think they're journalists are very much a part of the story. Do you think it's different now, more confrontational than it was in the era of your father?
Today, we're angrier. And I think that's what people are dealing with, the fact that I can't turn on the news anymore. I have to turn on opinion. I don't want opinion, I want the news. Give me the news, I'll form my opinion, if you will. And that's what I'm looking for, and I think that's what a lot of people are looking for today. Was it angry back in the years of Ronald Reagan? Did the media not like Ronald Reagan? Yes. But you know, he got through it with a wink and a nod. He didn't get through it by calling out the press. He called them out with humor.
Well, he was a master at the use of humor. And he was a master at a lot of other things. And I think one thing that I've seen, President Trump is the first president since your father that believed that it was a good thing for America not only to be strong, but to exert its strength to the other nations of the world. Is that one area that you feel like that President Trump has taken the right course?
I think it's the right course to show that America is strong, and America needs to be strong. They were weak under Barack Obama, if you will. One thing that my father and I talked about and really upset him is when these liberals or these Democrats, and only they do this, would go overseas to a foreign country and look back and point a finger at the United States and blame the United States for every ill known to mankind. My father couldn't put up with that, didn't like it when Jimmy Carter did it, didn't like it when Bill Clinton did it, and I certainly don't like it, and I'm sure nobody in your audience likes it either. It's time for Americans to stand up for Americans. If you're liberal, you don't want to stand up for us, move.
Michael, I couldn't agree more. Our audience certainly does too. Thank you so much for being here. I want to remind our audience to be sure and watch the videos of Michael Reagan and read his commentaries. You can get them at michaelereagan.com. And then after you browse his website, learn how you can honor World War II veterans through the Walkway to Victory Memorial. That's at walkwaytovictory.com. Walkwaytovictory.com. Also, you can go to ReaganLegacyFoundation.org.